only a report card won't help, but yes, academic excellence is an important parameter, but having a set of values will help, will turn out to be, it's going to be a very important benchmark for a good student.
Your questions, their answers. Dialogue at Nation Next.
Hello and welcome to Dialogue at Nation Next. I'm Radhika Dhawad and today I'm in conversation with Ms. Nidhi Yadav, who's the principal at Delhi Public School at MIHAN in Nagpur. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Radhika.
Ma'am, you are the principal of a school which is very prestigious, which is a brand name. How challenging it is?
You see, it is a challenge, something which we love. We love doing it, and of course, when our president and pro-vice chairperson, Mrs. Tulika Kedia, when she started DPS in Nagpur 16 years ago, the idea was to bring a global education, a standard of global education to this orange city. And it was a challenging thing, but we have set a benchmark. And with DPS MIHAN now, which has started just 4 years ago, the journey has been so far very, very interesting. And we have got a lot of recognition, lot of appreciation from the children, from the parents, from the city, very early in our life, I must say, because we have learned, from what should be done, what is required to be done to be a success story from our sister concern DPS Kamptee Road.
But managing a school and managing any other institution or any other profession are two different ball games altogether, because school comes with a lot of responsibility, moral and so many other responsibilities. So how challenging it gets for you at a personal level?
See, managing a school is different because you are handling human beings, little students who are looking up to you with a lot of expectations. They are little ones and you are shaping the entire generation. So it is certainly different from from experience of running any other organization. When these little ones look up to you, then you have to set standard of integrity, honesty, life skills. So we have to set an example to them. Also, we have to do a lot of hand holding because they are growing up with us.
Right.
Many a times parents tell us that their children have spent a lot of time with us as compared to the parents, especially in these foundation years. So yes, it's a job and it's a mission of great responsibility, because ultimately what we are telling our children or what impression that we are leaving on them, that shapes the whole nation, the whole society. Right. So it has to be like imparting values to them, and it no longer works with just preaching and teaching.
Yeah, right.
It has to be like a walk of life. It has to be kind of shown to them that yes, this is how a life should be led. This is how you should conduct. These are the values such as compassion, trust, teamwork. This is how we represent ourselves in front of the children. That is something which makes school and managing an organization a job of much more responsibility.
Like you spoke about compassion and teamwork and so many other attributes, how much as a principal do you give importance to these virtues in comparison to academics?
I think now is the time when the importance of academics, I won't say that it is no longer there. Everybody is talking about holistic development and how a human being turns out after doing a schooling from a good school. That matters the most. Our pro-vice chairperson and president, Mrs. Tulika Kedia, believes in it, that the school should be an environment which encourages a child to explore various options, to celebrate the uniqueness, and to learn these values. Because ultimately he has to be, a child has to become a citizen of a country or even a global citizen, right? So these values are imparted in very, very subtle way. Like I'll tell you, we have these very interesting things as, we have give this hand-on experience to our children. We have this discover and explore room. Now, when we talk about compassion, the compassion does not mean that, okay, for a fellow human being or for somebody who's like, you can get benefit out of that person. Compassion also means having sensitivity towards surroundings, whether it's your nature, your animals, and awareness about latest thing. So we have this unique discover and explore room, which has a huge one side wall painted with continent, map of continents. And there are different animals, birds painted on it, which has all the information about their habitats. And when children go into that, into that room, they just look around, they feel so fascinated. And then they are encouraged to explore more about those different animals. So they will go through the different pop-up books which are available on that particular topic. They will go through it. The teachers tell them about various dangers that different species are facing. And we try to, encourage them to think out of the box so that they can help, a balance in nature or maybe have the compassion towards animals. There is a lot of exposure given to the children to come out and work side by side with nature. Uh, we have concepts like botanical garden in both the schools. We have physics garden, especially at DPS MIHAN, which gives children what we say a knowledge about our own ancient, medicine system, what we call Indian knowledge system. So these kind of things, and of course, lot of activities which are planned based on the teamwork that encourages children to practice these values in their day-to-day life.
What is the biggest challenge when it comes to handling kids? Because they say that every 5 years there's a generation change.
Definitely.
I have a brother who's 5 years younger to me, and I can just see the change in generation and outlook. How do you manage that?
Well, Radhika, I must say that this time, because of COVID and this, such a major shift in education sector from offline to online and then, hybrid and then again offline. I think this time we don't need to wait for 5 years for a generation to change.
Absolutely.
There is a drastic difference from how the learning used to take place in pre-COVID time and how it is being done now post-COVID. In pre-COVID time, the focus was just, okay, that yes, we give them a good environment, we deliver, and we ensure that children understand and they can kind of, they become good citizens and not. Now, and even during COVID times, you see, we continued with this journey of imparting education. We always believe that, learning can never stop, right? And we took this challenge of imparting education even during COVID times with state-of-the-art technological adaptations.
Right.
Our teachers were trained. Tulika ma'am herself ensured that our teachers are trained by global trainers to deliver learning and deliver chapters and deliver the entire curriculum in a very, very concise and manner in which children can actually relate to. Now, once then we shifted back to offline, now you see a different generation. You see, now the challenges have become, I think, different. Now we see huge learning gaps, right? So the focus is now on bridging those gaps.
And also the attention span.
Yes, the attention span has reduced a lot. Children are, after some time, they will start looking for gadgets around. They have that habit of having, the information, everything at their fingertips. So the attention span is a challenge. The reading, ability has also kind of, now they don't want to actually pick up a newspaper or a magazine or books to read. They would rather go more for digital thing. The habit of writing, that has reduced. So they take a lot of time in writing what they used to write very quickly earlier. So I think the generation has changed a lot, and this COVID has really taught us as educators to adapt to this changing generation which has come up very quickly.
Our way of education has changed, and there's more of practicality in it. So, there's a school in Sangli, in Maharashtra, Sangli, where a Zilla Parishad school teaches students, boys, to actually make bhakris, because you know they are kids of migrant laborers, and at times when their parents are not at home, they should not skip school. So they are taught how to cook. I mean, this is also something that would promote gender equality. So as a person who's actually nurturing so many kids, how do you think of this approach, and how important it is for any school to adapt to this?
See, I think it's a very good step which they have taken. Of course, one target is to make them skilled. So they are learning something which they can of course use anywhere in their lives. And second aspect which you very correctly pointed out is gender equality. You will not kind of, it's something very astonishing that we review the textbooks, which we bring, which we introduce. We have our own workbooks which we make for our children, which is a very unique concept. I don't think so anywhere in this city any school is doing it. And we ensure that there are no gender biases in those books. Like why Ram has to be male is a doctor and female is working, in kitchen, or female is just, taking care of kids. So those stereotypes. So we are trying to break those stereotypes in our textbooks, in our workbooks. Again, as I said earlier, if you preach, nobody will listen. But yes, when students read those books, when they go through those workbooks and they realize that yes, there are no such thing that okay, there's a certain role defined based on gender, then I think that they understand, and this will work and this will help them throughout their life.
But it's of course, I mean, I understand that it's very important for them to read about it and to understand that. But what about the things they are actually seeing at their homes?
Yes, I think what they see at their home, that's what, we always believe that schooling is not just a responsibility or just, can be done only by a school. Absolutely. Within the premise of a classroom. So there is a very major role of parents also. What we do is that we keep on having these counseling with parents. We try to tell them that, okay, these kind of issues, whether it's gender equality or any other issue. So how the parents also should deal with the children. So when we are talking about issues like gender equality, we have a very good ratio of boys and girls in the class. So it's almost like same. There are equal number of boys and girls, and there are no such thing which girls can't do. We have a girls football team in our school, so that is something, and we insist that if they are going for some cricket tournament, then there has to be boys and girls common there, so that they can play along, so that child should not feel that okay, this is something which is meant for me and something which is meant for a girl or particularly any gender.
You are the face of this school because you're the principal. So how much do you think your personality actually gets percolated down in this system and into the kids eventually?
I think it matters the most, I must say. We carry vision of Tulika ma'am, and she believes in that everybody should be very passionate about, the work, and that passion drifts down. This goes down to our children. I always feel that the more responsible I act, the values which I can give to these children, walking in the corridor, like we have very open door policy, we have very open house, we have open house session in our school where children can just come and sit and chat with us. We have very open house policy as far as the parents are also concerned, so they come for coffee mornings and share their feedback with us. So all this, this community which we have built around this school, that has helped, and I also carry that responsibility on my shoulders, that children don't feel that they are not being heard or they are not being cared for.
There were primarily two major educational institutions in Nagpur that had been running for decades, Bhavans and Centrepoint School, and then Delhi Public School is already an established name. It comes in Nagpur. But then how challenging was it for you? I mean, you know that there have to be comparisons, right?
See, DPS is a global brand, right? It has been, I think, setting a benchmark in education field all across the world. And every school stands for quality education, for giving the best, not just in terms of infrastructure, but also in terms of education, in terms of overall experience. What we call the entire curriculum is very global curriculum. So there is as such no comparison. This DPS has brought a very different kind of education environment to this city, where children are encouraged not just to pursue academic goals, but also to pursue the co-scholastic dimension of learning. So that way, I think DPS has created a new benchmark in the city by our sister concern Kamptee Road for last 15 years, and of course with adding DPS MIHAN to the city.
How do you actually deal with these kids, like we spoke about the generation gap? Because what happens is these kids, they are very smart, they have smartphones, they you know, they are so exposed, and they have all the information with them, but at the same time they are smart, they are intelligent, they are very confident, but at times, you know, they are kids, they at times feel that they've seen the world, they know it all. So we know that that's not the truth. So how do you deal with this?
Fortunately, and you know, this dealing with children's emotions and giving them support is a part of our culture. In our schools, in both the schools, we ensure that there are people with whom children can talk to. And you see, Tulika ma'am emphasize a lot on giving importance to not just IQ, but also EQ, that is emotional quotient, and social quotient. And we all work around that concept of giving support to the child. We have counselors who are like around the whole, you know, they are in the corridors, they are talking with children. We have specialized, you know, sessions by our counselors. It's very interesting concept that we have introduced recently in both the schools, where we have put those little boxes which we call Man Ki Baat, and we encourage children to, you know, they can drop in, because at times, you know, child may not come out and tell us what is happening. Child may feel that, okay, he may feel be judged, or, you know, other children may laugh, or other children may feel awkward. So those little those boxes which we have kept, and we encourage children that you can always, you know, leave a note there, and we will reach out to you, and that has really helped. So we have a lot of these one-to-one sessions also, where we talk with the child, we try to, you know, explore the what is going on in his or my mind, and we really want that the school should give a proper support to child's mental health, and psychology, and give a good socially like strong environment.
Maybe not today, but you know, even till few years back, it was like if a child is good in science and mathematics, he was considered as a very intelligent and a very bright child. But today, that's not the situation. You know, there was a time when if you did not take up science, then you know you were, oh, तुम क्या करोगे आगे जाके? So you know, as a principal, what is your philosophy, and how do you look at this? Because arts, people who take up arts, they're equally intelligent, they're more intelligent, they're more talented. People who take up commerce are no less. So how do you look at this, and how would you try to change the mindset of the people around you?
I think changing the mindset, you need to give them exposure. Now there's a beautiful concept which we have in our school, which is known as the artist village. The artist village is like a dream project of our Pro Vice Chairperson Tulika ma'am, and it's one of the most unique concept anywhere in any school in the country. Artist village gives exposure to the children about various kind of art forms, whether it is performing art, visual art. It has got work by renowned artists all around, you know, across the walls. If you just walk around, you can see beautiful paintings, beautiful indigenous art forms on the walls of DPS. So we always say that even DPS, you know, the walls of DPS teach. So that exposure, it has a beautiful amphitheater. So we keep having these performances by our own students and teachers. This exposure sensitize the children about various other fields other than just science and commerce. We also keep getting renowned people from different walks of life. Like we have these series of seminars, series of talk shows, series of, you know, inspiring talk by people. So we get these eminent people from different walks of life, whether they are like writers, good orators, people from journalism background. So we keep bringing them, and they interact with our children. And it is all to just tell them that, okay, your career is not just confined to a very, just a typical mindset. You can explore so many other options. So once they are given exposure of these other options, then of course they know the importance, and they at least will think about choosing something else. So there is no such biases which we try to develop, that okay, if you have taken humanities, then you're less than science and commerce students. In fact, we just tell them that okay, the world is wide open, and just explore whatever makes you happy and successful, of course.
Like we spoke about kids, of course they are very smart and they are confident, but their anxiety issues are real today. Their mental health issues are real today. Maybe when I was in my school, I did not have these issues, but today children have it, and I mean, it's important for the schools to address it. How important are mental health issues for Delhi public school?
It is very important, Radhika, because I have seen that in case if a child is happy in any environment, whether it's school or home, the learning will be more effective. It will last longer. So we have been training our teachers to identify the problem areas. A teacher should be able to first of all have a connect with the child, so that a teacher can make out that okay, now today is some
There's some problem.
some problem, or there is some problem with this particular child. So this connect between teacher and children is something that we really focus on, we work on. We always tell our teachers, and we've got teachers from all across the country, and we always train them on having a very good connect with the child. Once that bond is built, once that bond is established, then it is very easy to identify the red flags in behavior, and then child will also feel comfortable in coming forward and sharing the things with you. So we always tell our teachers that even if there is one day you feel that okay, today I may not be able to teach, but let me just sit and have a circle time with my students. Let me just sit and share with them that okay, yeah, so how's life, and simple thing like that. You will not believe that the outcome is amazing.
Oh.
Even while traveling in the bus, my teachers they sit with children and just ask simple question, how was your day?
Yeah.
It has got such amazing response that
matters.
yes, it matters that if my teacher is asking like on drive home, okay, how was your day? And we have recently, I mean, we have really come across so many amazing responses, that this interaction, this informal interaction beyond classroom has really helped us to give that robust support to our children.
Like you said that students are not necessarily, they should not be just schooled in school. Even the other atmosphere matters a lot. So how much do you think is parenting a role important in their lives?
It is very important, and that's what we say, that it is co-parenting kind of a thing. Schooling and education is like co-parenting, and parents are very, very major stakeholders of our education sector. We understand their expectations from us. We take this responsibility, and we also know that we have to give it back with full integrity and honesty. So we always try to get them to our side of the story, and we always try to sit with them and work on it, that okay, this is where the school is facing issue, or maybe your child needs this kind of your child has shared this thing with us, now let's see how we can work upon it. So I think parent counseling is very, very important, and referring back to what you just said few last question, that giving importance to humanities, you won't believe that change of mindset is, I think, more required in the parent body rather than the child, because most of the careers are decided by parents. So especially in that aspect, we have done a lot of counseling session with parents. We bring them very often on board. They take sessions at times. They interact with children, with other children, And that bonding is very, very important. And that once they come to the classroom, once they see how a teacher interacts with their children, and once we share that what kind of feedback we get from children, they also understand the importance of the environment at home, and how important it is to have to be on the same page as far as the school and parents are concerned.
You know, a certain section of the society believes that all the children studying in premier English medium schools, they are actually snobbish, and their humility takes a beating. You know, you speak in English and then you're scoffed at, you know, especially in a two-tier city like Nagpur. So, but aren't we making them closer to global students
Very
by
true.
doing this?
No, I think as you rightly said, see, speaking in English or you know, having understanding of a language cannot be just termed as snobbish, because ultimately they are going to be global citizens. So it is just knowing a language, just understanding, you know, it is giving them more exposure. And side by side, I think we must appreciate what all of us have seen what the new education policy has brought. So it is emphasizing on learning local language as well. So I think it's a very fine balance between learning a language which is spoken globally, and of course learning your local language. So it is kind of, I feel that it is enhancing them to be a good citizen and to be a global citizen.
Why DPS? Why should any parent consider DPS over any other school in Nagpur today?
I feel that DPS stands for an environment which encourages children to pursue excellence in whatever they do, to have a set of values which will help them in being happy and successful in life. Tulika ma'am very, very firmly believes, and she ensures that this thing is passed on to our each and every student, that they have to have certain values, certain skills which we call life skills, which are very, very important. So merely a report card won't help, but yes, academic excellence is an important parameter, but having a set of values will help, will turn out to be, you know, it's going to be a very important benchmark for a good student, and it's certainly a benchmark for a school like ours, which believes in kind of giving a good environment, a learning environment. We believe in bringing so many things under one roof, so that child feel that yes, this is the place where I can really enjoy, and I love this place. Our state of the art, whether you talk about our state of the art labs, whether it's you know, chemistry lab, we have got this unique concept of a shower room in a chemistry lab, which is, and we follow all these safety standards, and you know, international safety standards are followed in our school, and so all these things makes DPS very unique. We have DPS Kamti Road has already established a benchmark in giving academically excellent result, and I'm very sure that DPS MIHAN will also follow the thing, and we are giving quality education, we are providing children and whatever skills, whatever values that we are talking of, this will cater to the need of this generation, which is like moving ahead. So we are catering to the skills which are required in the 21st century.
Anyone mentions principal of a school, you know, the vision that I would have is like a very strict person who is very unapproachable and you know, very intimidating, but by no means you are any of it. You, I mean, of course, you're very presentable, you are very approachable, you are very soft in speaking. So is it by design or by default?
I think it is by default, and it is and it is also like what we call need of the hour. Gone are the days when, you know, we can just sit on our high chair and just, you know, dictate. The more we gel with the children, the more we listen to them, the more we learn their lingo.
Yeah.
I think that is very, very important, and that's what makes our schools very unique. The children feel very comfortable, you know, coming to us and sharing, and I think that makes us unique.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arika, for having me here.
Nation Next, News Hub for New India.